Hello, we are back for another episode.
Hi, it's Sonia.
And Daniel. So yeah, we decided to come back for another year list, I guess, of 2018. I'm not sure if we'll go in order backwards or if we might just choose random years or just different subjects to do film or TV next time. I kind of want to do something about animation at some point too. I think that'd be interesting.
You know what? I think there's going to be things that we're going to leave out, especially when we do year lists, because I'm sure we haven't seen every movie from that entire year, etc.
Well, that goes for any year.
Yeah.
Nobody can
Or whatever
watch.
subject. Too.
Or you find movies later on
Mm-hmm.
that you've watched. But I think we've definitely both seen a lot of films from 2018. Like when I was making this, I don't know about you, like when I searched up like how many good movies came out in 2018, it was a bit ridiculous.
So the other thing about this being our second podcast, I was saying to Daniel how we should probably name the podcast.
Yes, and so it came up with a really good name actually, In the Can.
I thought it was a fun one related to film and talking about, sort of what's in the can as far as the film itself and the subject matter. And the other references, I guess, because of coronavirus and we're stuck in the house, which some people might call a prison, etc. I don't think of it that way. I'm enjoying doing all our little projects.
Yeah, it's fun. Why not? All right.
So 2018.
2018 was crazy.
Starting from number 5.
Yeah. I think I'll go first this time.
I think, you go first
because you went first last time. So again, there was just so many to pick from. So, I was thinking about this movie, and I didn't include it at first, but then I kind of thought about it a bit more. I'm like, I kind of have to, because I kind of love it. And that is the Suspiria remake from 2018.
I had a feeling that would be on your list.
Yeah, I didn't add it first, but then I just kind of thought about it for a minute and just like how much I liked that movie, and especially technically. The director, Luca G. Supping, who made Call Me By Your Name and I Am Love, is the director of that film, and I think he's a fantastic director, and he really did a unique and good job with Suspiria.
This is the one about the dancers, right?
Yeah, like
just remind our listeners.
Tilda Swinton is like, and Dakota Johnson in like
it was filmed in Europe somewhere. Yeah, the building was really cool too,
because it's like during a war. I'm slightly brain farting in the background, but it's mainly
the Cold War, I think.
Yeah, it's almost like it's mainly to do with like their cult of dancers and them trying to like resummon their god like through her main character. But there's just a lot you can talk about with this film, from the performances of Tilda playing 3 characters. Dakota Johnson's pretty awesome in it. Even what's her name, Chloe Supping, who's in a bunch of other movies. She has a small part, but she's really good too. The costumes and makeup are fantastic. The dance sequences. The movie's also disturbing as hell.
Yeah, it's very it's almost like, again, like not a thrasher, but kind of like a gross.
It's like a mix of like horror and like fantasy and
and love an art film too.
Oh, absolutely. I also love like how the dance stuff can become horrifying in the film. Like the grossest scene in the film when.
Well, the whole dancers that practice, that art form in itself is kind of has a perfectionism, kind of addictive,
but like
abusive on your body, kind of.
Well, that goes into like the most like disturbing sequence of the movie, with like
I think that's a
one
big
of the
part
dancers being killed and like doing a destroying her body dance. It just goes on and on and on.
The effects
forces you to watch it.
Definitely a great movie.
Yeah, there's some amazing costumes. Yeah, just everything about it. The soundtrack too by Tom York really adds to the creepiness and tension of the film, and I thought the soundtrack was pretty awesome.
That's an excellent choice, Daniel.
What else can I say about it? Maybe the ending with the gore got a bit over the top for me, but considering the whole movie, it really doesn't drag it down, and I still really like the movie.
For me, that movie was like an intense experience.
I think it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Very tense and good characters too. I thought the characters were really cool.
Yeah.
Especially the old man Tilda played.
Swinton is her name. The one of the main teachers, right? Like, she's a great actress. She's very intense.
Well, yeah, and she played 3 roles in this movie.
Yeah.
And also,
I think anything she's in is usually good,
Pretty,
or she steals the show.
Pretty much. And I'm trying to think what else I can say about this movie, but yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it.
It's not mainstream, but it's definitely
no, because it's very.
If you
long.
like horror, then that's something.
If you like horror, even if you just like makeup and costume kind of stuff,
yeah,
or special effects kind of stuff, it's a really cool movie, and it's like probably one of the better remakes ever.
Yeah, we were talking about that the other day.
It's very different from the original Suspiria in story and in just like the visual style of it. It's very different.
Nice. Well, my number 5 seems kind of mainstream now a little bit. So my number 5 is Hereditary.
No, that's not. I wouldn't say that's mainstream. Yeah. That's like in the same realm. I would say
it's kind of one of his more commercial films, no, compared to. So for Hereditary, I really liked, of course, Toni Collette is one of the main characters. Plays the mother in the film.
Oh yeah, she's like that's probably my favorite movie with her.
Yeah,
she's so good.
Yeah, she's great. I've always loved her. I wrote down a little note that the first movie I ever saw her was in Muriel's Wedding, which I think is kind of her first big movie as an Australian actress and
what
as an
year?
Australian film, 1994.
1994,
that film,
wow.
yeah. And the director of this film is Ari Aster.
Yep, same guy who made Midsommar.
Yes, which was on my list last time, right?
Yeah, he's only made 2 bigger horror movies, and he has some shorts on YouTube. Actually, I've watched one of his shorts. What's Wrong with the Johnsons or whatever.
I haven't seen
that's
that.
That's a fucked up short. That's a messed up short. You
should watch it. Are we allowed to swear on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys have not seen What's Wrong with the Johnsons on YouTube, go watch it. It's very weird subject matter you don't usually see.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. What I liked about this is kind of has sort of almost a Hitchcocky feel. I liked it that the mother was an artist. She does these miniature scenes, which also...
Yeah, the visuals of that were really cool.
Yeah, it also plays into the story kind of thing, and it just makes it creepier in general.
If I'm not mistaken, I think they foreshadow a lot, and they also introduce a lot of scenes from those models. That's really cool.
Well, she, like any good artist, she makes her art, become part of the story kind of thing. And yeah, so that was really neat. I liked the fact that it was sort of this scary movie that was like a tragedy. It had all the sort of good makings of a scary movie with
and a lot of like family relationships.
Yeah, and with demons and seances,
and the mother and son like dealing with grief after what happens to the daughter, which I found really good.
Yeah, you just did a spoiler alert again. But anyways, yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that lead up to things.
This movie's almost 2 years old. We're allowed to do spoilers.
And there's like, basically it sort of starts with sort of this haunting of the grandmother's secret and stuff. So yeah, there was a lot to it that I really liked. Even the lighting. I don't know if you remember the lighting, Daniel.
Yeah,
it
definitely
had a very sort of mysterious feel to it, and it became kind of surreal as it went on and towards the end.
I like how, if you don't know if the mother's insane for a lot of the film, which is kind of goes into the one thing I don't like about the movie. I don't really like the end sequence.
Yeah, it's sort of at the very end. It gets a little
It kind of goes
not where I wanted it to go.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It kind of goes to like older scary films, like I don't know.
It's still
The Exorcist or stuff like this. It kind of pulls from.
It's still well done in the end sequence, and it's still scary and stuff. It's just not as interesting. As what they were
it has different
before.
parts in the film, but like the part where somebody dies, it's horrific. Like it is.
Oh yeah, it's awful.
So
you still see.
I don't think I've ever seen something like that.
You still see people talking about it online.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but incredible at the same time. So that was my number 5, basically. Yeah, and the other actors too. The son.
Son's really good.
Yeah, he's a good actor, and of course the daughter. And like you said, the whole relationship of the family dynamics is very interesting. Yeah. So that's my number 5. Cool. On to number 4.
Cool. And Hereditary's not on my list.
There you go. We introduced it. If people haven't seen it, and Again,
I feel like this Hereditary is pretty popular. I feel like a lot of people saw it.
Unless you don't like scary movies.
That's your problem.
What's your number 4, Daniel?
My number 4 is a film from one of my favorite directors, a Greek director. I'm sure you know
that might be on my list.
Oh, cool. The Favorite.
It is on my list. It's number 3.
That's your number 3?
And I almost mixed them. Like, I almost could have put that number 4.
Should we just talk about it
Let's
together?
just talk about it then.
Yeah, then you can put the next one or whatever. Yeah, The Favorite.
You know what? So The Favorite, first of all, the cast is amazing.
Yeah. And
he's a Greek director, like you said.
The main 3 characters are so good, and they just, like, work together so well, and the character dynamics are really cool in the movie.
You introduced me to this director probably from Dogtooth.
Yeah.
Which is really a scary movie or a horrific movie kind of thing. I watched it.
Unique movie.
Yeah.
I think I've seen all of his movies. The Lobster, Dogtooth.
Dogtooth freaked me out the most. The Lobster was like artsy but kind of cool.
It's cool.
This one is probably the most mainstream.
Killing of a Sacred Deer.
Yes.
I love that one too.
But probably most people haven't seen all those movies. But this one
I think The Favorite was like the most mainstream of all of his movies for people seeing it and stuff, especially because of the cast. Especially like Emma Stone being in it and stuff. More people are going to see it.
I am a big fan of Rachel Weisz, of course.
Yeah,
Emma Stone, I wasn't sure about before watching the movie.
I'm not crazy about Emma Stone, but like that's my favorite movie with her. She's such a nasty character.
Well, no, she was good in Superbad.
No, like
an Easy A, I would even give her kudos to that.
Like, okay, I don't dislike her or anything, but I was just like, she's good. She's good in La La Land, but there's no movie I can point to before this that I was like, I love her in this. But then now I'm like, I love Emma Stone, The Favorite.
Yeah, no, she definitely rose up for this film. It's a story about the relationship of the 2 cousins.
Yeah.
You know, and sort of the whole, like, competitiveness between the 2 women of who will be, you know, the court favorite of Queen Anne.
Who will have influence over the Queen.
Mm-hmm. So 18th century England they're in. This reminded me of Barry Lyndon.
I can see that.
Yeah,
Barry Lyndon has interesting character dynamics too.
Yeah, and he's kind of
visual
going up,
too.
You know, in society and trying, you know, to gain money and wealth.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's also like kind of using people in love, or they're using him, kind of thing.
I feel like I need to rewatch Barry Lyndon. I haven't seen it since like
high school. Yeah, that one really.
Barry Lyndon's cool, and I feel like The Favorite, including Barry Lyndon, is like now one of my favorite like period pieces because it just has such a unique style and character interactions that you don't usually see in period pieces type movie. I feel like it's been a while,
and it's got violence and sex and
it's a very fun movie too. It's very funny.
It's just sort of showing you a little bit more of the reality of the situations that they might have been in compared to, like, you know, sugarcoating it in other period pieces.
You know what? It's kind of a weird comparison, but I love like those kind of drama films of just characters being nasty and trying to get ahead of each other. You know what's a weird comparison? It maybe reminds me of The Social Network a little bit. Characters just trying to get ahead of each other and screw each other over.
That's the big part of the film is that. And I also love the Nicholas Hoult was his name?
The X-Men guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
I love him.
He's a good actor.
Yeah. And he just has a small thing, but he steals the scene.
Yeah, no, he's a good like supporting character.
And it's interesting because it's all women, and his character is a kind of a core part to the whole story, and he plays a gay guy. So it's interesting that, you know, there's not really...
Was he gay in the film? I forget that.
Yeah, he is. And anybody else in the film, all the other men are insignificant, pretty much.
Yeah, there's not really a focus on any other. Like,
so it's really
a husband, few scenes here and there for Rachel Weisz's character. Yeah, not important to me.
Only important as far as like status to get money kind of thing.
Pretty much. Going into spoilers, so if you want to skip 5 minutes or whatever, I also love the ending to the movie of like Emma Stone and the Queen being kind of like stuck together.
Mm-hmm, yeah, sort of.
And being
it's sort of the excess of the kings and queens and just that whole situation.
Yeah, but it's like Emma Stone kind of got what she want, but like, is she happy type of thing? And like, they're both just like stuck with each other.
Yeah.
And I love the visuals of the rabbits on top of that. Like, the ending is really good.
So I wrote down the budget just to give you some information. This was a $15 million budget for this film.
Any type of period piece is going to have a big budget.
And they made over $95 million. Yeah, so huge success.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people saw this,
Yeah.
and a lot of people talked about.
So
the
this was
Academy.
your number 4. This is my number 3.
Yeah, my number 4, your number 3.
Which I could have switched it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what Yorgos does next. I wonder if he's going to lean more into this like character dynamic thing, or go more into like abstract art, like how Killing of a Sacred Deer was just like a retelling of a Greek tragedy. Sacred Deer is crazy.
Definitely, we'll want to watch his next one.
Next one, and if you haven't seen any of his older movies, they're all worth watching. I definitely say
not for everybody.
Give it a shot.
And if you're looking for a period piece, they're not like completely different, right? So you just have to be open when you watch his other films.
Well, The Favorites is only period piece.
Yeah.
His others are more like sci-fi, and then like just like only Lobster's a bit sci-fi. Yeah, they're just very strange.
Just more abstract. It's more of an abstract kind.
Actually, I would say if you like The Shining and that type of storytelling, you'll like Killing of a Sacred Deer. It's similar in some ways.
Interesting. Okay,
cool.
So my number 4, which even though it's...
Oh, so you're going back to your number. Okay.
Yeah. So my number 4, it's a number 4, but like I can't talk enough about this film, especially because I just watched it recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thunder Road.
Okay, my number 3 is Thunder Road. So we could have switched. Yeah.
That's funny.
So I guess we'll talk about this together. I saw this a couple of years ago.
So I just saw it recently. Daniel recommended it to me, and so good. I liked it so much. And this guy, Jim Cummings, is like, woof, explosion. He stars in it. He is the director. He wrote the screenplay, and he did the music. Like, that's crazy.
I know he does this for his stuff. He makes like an audio story of the whole movie before they go into production. So he records himself playing all the characters.
Yes, so much creativity, so much talent. Like, it's just...
And it really pays off in the final product of that movie because it's like crazy good.
I think this guy is going to be a huge star. The whole thing, it was funny when I started writing notes about this movie. It was really interesting because it's all about sort of starts off with him dealing with the death of his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And just sort of the dynamic of, the more I thought about it, like him and his mother, he's going through a divorce and he has a daughter.
He's going through a lot during the movie.
It's all women he's dealing with, basically. And he is a police officer, a white police officer. And he realizes sort of things that he's done wrong through the whole film, through the whole story. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like a film about asking for forgiveness. It's like redemption or like going on the right path now.
There's a lot of like forgiveness in the movie. That makes sense to the theme. Even just like how his friend kind of ends up supporting him in the end.
His friend, but also his friend is not a white police officer. Yeah. He's a black police officer. And even the dynamics with his friend and his friend's wife and daughter. So it's all about women, the movie. Even though the main star is a guy, it's about the white police officer.
A little bit, yeah.
And since we get started, the fucked up white guy, and how he's like now, like, oh my God, all these women, and this is messed up, and the world's messed up, my world's messed up, and now,
he's messed up.
Forgive, sort of it ends in a positive kind of like, yeah, I've made mistakes and the world's not perfect, but now I'm going to try and do my best for, one of the women in the film.
Mm-hmm, for his daughter. And just to say, is one thing I actually really like is how this daughter is actually a good actor.
Oh, she's fantastic. I don't know how old she is. She's probably not even a teenager.
She's very believable and very good.
She's like probably 7 or 8 or something.
Which is like, you see bad kid actors in like big movies. Yeah. And this is like
it's real life, like a real...
This is like a $90,000 movie. And when you're watching it, it doesn't feel like it. There's a lot of long takes.
Yeah, I don't think he made a lot of money off of it. Like
I think he made his budget back, but like... I feel like a lot of people watch the movie later.
Exactly. Too. Like the promotion, the marketing promotion, like him, like this is like a launching pad big time for him.
Oh, it's so well done. Yeah.
Yeah. And the acting, like, I don't think unbelievable.
I don't think it even came out in theaters. I remember it came out to like iTunes. or something.
Yeah, I saw it on Netflix, I think.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Well, obviously Netflix bought it. They wouldn't buy it for no reason.
I couldn't say enough about this. Like, it's almost my number one in some ways. This movie.
No, it's a great movie.
Okay.
A nice one to go back to. Like, this is a $90,000 movie, and it like really doesn't feel like that. Whether it's the acting, also there's a lot of long takes in the movie with like people fighting or like him kind of going on rants. There's a lot of long
it's
takes.
Like it's him having a breakdown basically, and just emotionally
and
the ups and downs.
They don't cut away from that. It looks exhausting.
It was exhausting to watch him have a breakdown.
Yeah, especially
to have the ups and downs.
Yeah, especially because you end up caring about him.
And there's like one scene where he's doing the eulogy, and the eulogy is inspired by a Bruce Springsteen song, Thunder Road, which is kind of talking about the mother's life a little bit more. But the ride was like a thunder road, like thunder was happening on the entire road. So I guess you could call it that. But I definitely recommend to watch that one. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one of the best of the year. That movie's awesome.
I wonder if number 2 will be the same for us. What's your number 2, Daniel?
Does it start with an R?
Yes.
What the hell?
We are in sync.
Yeah, we're in sync. This is weird.
Roma.
Yeah, how could...
That means our number 1 might be possibly be the same too. But let's not go to number 1. Let's go to number 2, Roma. Now,
yeah,
I was
wait. I just want to ask you now. What's your number 1?
No.
Okay, we'll get to it. Whatever.
There'll be excitement for the audience.
True.
So I realized when doing a little research about Roma, the director, I've seen his film before.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Besides that, and besides Children of Men, which is
Children of Men.
And
Harry Potter is good. That's the best Harry Potter movie.
You know what? He also did Great Expectations with Gwyneth Paltrow. And...
He also did Gravity.
Yes. Okay, but I saw a Mexican film, because I love Mexican film. I don't know if I've told you that before. I'm a big fan of Mexican films for many, many years. And I saw the movie, I don't have the Mexican translation, but in English it's called And Your Mother Too.
And he made that?
He made that in 2001.
I haven't seen that.
I would recommend it. It's kind of politics and sex and,
Okay.
It's also kind of a menage a trois. Sorry, I'm your mother. But anyways.
Whatever.
It's a really good movie. And the 2 males that are in it, I don't remember the lady who played in it, but the 2 male are great actors. You'll probably recognize both of them.
Cool. Let's get back to Roma, though.
And also, did you know that he was a producer only for Pan's Labyrinth for Del Toro?
Oh, really?
Yeah, in 2006.
That doesn't surprise me. They seem to be buddies.
Yep. So, if you don't know this film, it is a black and white film, right? The whole way through?
Well, okay. Just talking about like the presentation of the movie, it's very unique because it is black and white.
It's beautiful.
But it's also a very modern looking movie with like the sets and like...
Visually, artistically, it's incredible to watch.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's also a movie that really tells its story with the environment. And watching behind the scenes, they recreated a lot of streets. And there's just a lot of like big scenes of lots of people and what's happening.
My favorite part, well, let's just tell a little bit about it.
Yeah, sure.
It kind of is the story through the housekeeper and a middle-class family in Mexico. And just a lot of politics and social things that are going on.
And it focuses on her and this family for the most part.
And sort of the different levels of society, and a lot about women. Again, women, sort of the workers or the wife, and the father is not as important, or the males are more.
Just to say what's interesting about this, because this is like generally based on his childhood.
Oh, okay.
His family, like his father leaving, that's all based on like his childhood. So I found it interesting he didn't take the child's perspective. So he went with
maybe it was a dedication to the caregiver,
Maybe a bit, yeah. And also maybe he, like I haven't seen an interview for exact reason. Maybe just because that's an interesting perspective to take rather than one of the kids.
So it definitely was a beautiful movie to watch. There's a lot of really interesting scenes.
Yeah, especially the riots and stuff are really cool. Even just like the normal streets, her like traveling, her seeing that like not karate thing they're doing in the desert. They're doing some kind of martial art thing. That tons of people, like even the scenes where there's not riots, there's just so many people, and it's such like a well-planned scenes. Like it's crazy.
Actually, part of my favorite part of the movie is all held, and it's kind of comical in some ways, but significant, is in the garage, the car parking in the garage, the cleaning of the dog poop on the floor of the garage is like my favorite parts. So like little small parts in the movie.
That's a great scene. There's so many great scenes in this movie.
And it's just kind of like dealing with the shit, right? And the housekeeper has to deal with the shit, and it's just like she's just dealing with it, and it's just you got to see these scenes, like especially the car and just squeezing the car.
Yeah, that's such a good scene. There's so many good scenes. Like I feel like there's no bad scenes in this movie. It's a very well planned, interesting, and this is probably my favorite movie Netflix has ever put out on their platform, because this is still exclusive to Netflix, I believe. I think you can buy the Blu-ray now.
I almost forgot that it was specifically like
they produce. I'm not sure if they bought it. I think they bought it while it was being produced or something. It's
incredible. Yeah. It's an incredible film, and I believe it won. Did it win for the movie of the year that year? I think it did.
I believe so. It won a couple things. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I would also say probably the most underrated movie on Netflix, because it's still like, I don't know, insane amount of people watched it, or I know people that have watched it and just dislike it.
It's like a foreign film to people, right?
It's not just because it's foreign. Because look at Parasite, it's also the way it tells the story is very different.
It's quieter. And
it's quiet. It tells its story through its environment. It's a lot of you hanging out with the main character, not talking to other people all the time. She's often like going somewhere.
Yeah, or watching
taking care
things.
Of the kids. Yeah.
Or cleaning up the shit. It's definitely. Yeah, you want to check this movie.
It's also just a very powerful movie about family.
Yeah,
and, like,
love.
Yeah, how they're like
even
family
the love
at the end.
Between even in the end, the wife loving and caring for the housekeeper. That love comes out eventually too. Yeah. So definitely. So now number 1. Dun, 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 dun. Did we pick the same movie?
Maybe.
Maybe not. Maybe
What'd
not.
What'd you pick?
You're gonna be surprised, I think.
Go ahead.
Klansman. What'd you pick?
Wait, Klansman. What's that movie? What?
The Black Klansman.
Oh.
Spike Lee.
Oh.
Did we pick something different?
Yes, completely. Yeah. That's cool though.
Okay, you were supposed to go first. Should I?
Nah, let's talk about Black Klansman first.
Okay.
So
Black Klansman. Black Klansman. So I guess I've been a fan of Spike Lee for many years.
Yeah, same here. Spike Lee, especially.
I wouldn't say like all his movies, but yeah. When I saw Do the Right Thing in 1989, I thought,
wow.
Yeah, this is awesome.
No, it's a great movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen a lot of his other films.
To me, that film is like, it's up there on the list of top best films.
Really?
And it changed. It changed films.
Huh.
And just storytelling. Yeah. I think it's very, very significant film.
No,
that
definitely.
film. But I mean, it was a big film at the time, but yeah, even more. But The Black Klansman, great cast. Going back to his older films, another one that I liked was Jungle Fever in 1991, and he also did Summer of Sam. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No,
1990.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, that's a good one too to watch. But this film starring John David Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, related to Denzel Washington, the son of. He
was good.
I think it was maybe the first thing that I'd seen him in, and I really liked him.
He's going to be in a big film this year.
I like him better than the father. Yeah, right now I like him much better than he's more subtle.
Yeah, he's good in Black Klansman. I like him. I mean, I can't wait to see The Tenant with him, because he's the main star of that.
Yeah, no, he's going to be interesting to watch to see.
Yeah, he's paired with Robert Pattinson for that movie.
Well, then this movie he's with Adam Driver, which everybody loves, especially John Oliver. And
yeah, Adam Driver's awesome.
Yeah, he's great, of course, from Girls and from some other films that we've seen.
Hungry Hearts.
I really liked, I mean, of course, this is a crazy, partly true story about this African-American detective who, you know, sort of does this investigation to do with the Ku Klux Klan and sort of infiltrates.
Yeah.
Adam Driver goes undercover, and it's set in the 70s, which I also like that period, and I find that an interesting time period. They also have sort of the Black Student Union president, a girl involved from Colorado College. This won the grand prize at the Cannes Film Festival.
Won a bunch of awards from what I remember.
Yeah, it's just a great action, dark comedy with history and drama. And I guess I have a tendency to like sort of the dark comedies.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Funny and relevant.
Yeah, it's also he's the first sort of Black police officer and how he's treated and the dynamics. Yeah, so I think that story, again, is really important to be having in films.
Yeah, it's unique. It's a great subject to make a dark comedy.
Well, they need to be told, right? These stories need to be told. And I thought it was really interesting, the Adam Driver character also, who was, you know, sort of more of a white police officer, but his heritage was Jewish. And so there's a really fantastic scene with him because Adam Driver kind of admits, like, you know, I never thought about, you know, until put into this crazy situation dealing with the Ku Klux Klan, I never thought about being Jewish, but now I'm thinking about it all the time. And that's such a powerful scene because a lot of Jewish people do not practice their religion after the Second World War. And so, and there's so many new generation that, you know, don't think about it or don't even know about it, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So to me, that was a really powerful, you know, alignment in the film between the two characters. Like, basically, you know, John.
Well, they start to like relate to each other more.
Yeah, well, he's saying you should feel really strongly about this because you are Jewish, and he's like, yeah, I am starting to think about it, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So he has an awareness that happens, and it's just an incredible scene. It's just very subtle. I also liked, you know, that, you know, there's certain points in the movie. I don't know if you didn't like it, Daniel, where they do like the students are, you know, kind of a historic moment talking about, you know, Black unity, Black power, and they have a little montage.
With, the female character.
Yeah, and that to me is like almost like a 70s style of filmmaking. And I kind of liked it that it was interjected because it had that 70s style. Mm-hmm. But for other people, you know, maybe for yourself, I don't know if you didn't like it, that little section. It kind of bothered you a bit.
I think there's a lot I like about the movie. Like, I love the cast, I love the acting, I love the unique story, I like some of the comedy. I would say the only things I dislike about the movie is probably from a filmmaking perspective. I don't find it to be the most unique thing ever. I don't find the style of the filmmaking itself doesn't have as much style as like the characters or the costume or the setting.
Yeah, it wasn't so much about that. To me, it was like it was more of a basic storytelling and the acting.
Yeah, which isn't a bad thing. Like, I still really like the movie. You like a lot of political films for your top movies. Mm-hmm.
Well, especially at the end, it became very political.
That's going into probably what I like the least about the movie.
Oh, and I remember disagreeing with you. I remember saying that was like my fate. Like, to me, it was like a really powerful way to end.
Going into spoilers, after the end scene, he goes into like a Trump rally footage with text over it. From what I remember. He was saying how these problems are still going on.
They were showing footage of Charlottesville and the right riot, basically, and the
violent riot,
and the white girl that was killed.
Yeah. So, like, I get what he's trying to say, but I feel like the movie itself was saying those themes already, and just putting real footage on top of that just felt like Spike Lee just like beating me over the head with the message.
Yeah, he definitely was. He was making a political statement at the end.
Yes.
But for me, I felt very moved when he did that. Thinking about it, I want to cry.
Like, no, I understand what he's trying to say. I understand what he's trying to do. Yeah. Just like as a movie trying to say it, I didn't like it that much.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying?
he even ends with like the American flag, and it's like in
Yeah.
color, and then it turns to black and white,
Isn't it upside down
and it's
too?
upside down.
I totally get what I get. I agree with him what he's doing and like what he's trying to say. It's just like as a film, I don't like it as much. But it's one small part of the movie, so whatever.
So the other thing that I wrote down a couple little notes too. Within the film, there's a film, and it's a historic film called The Birth of a Nation. And it's actually a novel called The Klansman. It's actually a right-wing kind of film that was 3 hours long. Historically,
Weird.
I think it would be interesting. It's a silent film. It'd be interesting to see it just in a historic sense. It was actually premiered at the White House.
Ew.
Yeah. Well, at the time, I guess it's just, really bizarre. You know, and it's actually about the assassination of Lincoln and the Civil War, but it's very, it's very KKK kind of film.
I don't totally remember that film in the film.
Yeah,
Probably have to watch this movie again, to be honest.
It's kind of an upsetting part, like where it's basically like, oh my gosh, this is a horrific film kind of thing. We don't want to promote the KKK in it, but it's just, in a film history, it's interesting that he incorporated it into the film.
Yeah.
So that's my number 2.
Wasn't that your number 1?
Oh, sorry, that's my number 1. Yes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's a good movie. Small parts I don't like about it, but that's okay.
I just thought Spike Lee was due to have a number 1. I'm giving it to him.
Would his Do the Right Thing be the number 1 of that year, though? You made a list for that year?
I can't. Well, I'd have to look back to 1989.
True.
Maybe we should go to that one next.
Maybe.
That would definitely be on my top 5 for that year, I would assume.
Probably same for me. That's a good movie. All right. My next movie.
Your number 1 movie
is
for 2018.
Lee Chang's Burning from 2018. I have not seen his earlier films. Apparently, he's like a really well respected and like known like abstract Korean filmmaker.
It's a Korean film, not in English.
South Korean, yeah.
Subtitles.
Yes, the subtitles.
But they might recognize the actor.
Well,
the main actor.
One of the actors.
Or one of them, sorry.
Because I wrote down.
Because he's from The Walking Dead. The guy with
the
red
all
cap.
their names. I don't see it right here, but yeah, Steven Yeun is kind of the main antagonist, I want to say, of the film, and this is actually his first South Korean like film, and he actually has another one this year. He's some other director he's working with, and he is like steals the show, like by far his best performance, and like probably one of the best performances I saw that year. He's so subtle and like creepy in some ways, and during the film you're trying to understand like what he's doing to these, because the main character is trying to like understand what happened to his friend, and what he's done to other girls potentially.
Does it have almost like a little reference to like a Great Gatsby kind of in the film?
I was going to get into that. The film covers a lot, being kind of, it's a very like, it's okay, I'm just going to name like this different stuff it covers. It covers like people's perspectives and like what's real or not. It covers like poor versus rich.
Definitely.
The two main males is like very opposite spectrums, where it's like one guy's super rich, he's very laid back, and then the other guy is struggling with money and struggling with his relationship with his father and family violence. Yeah, the movie covers so much that like you have to watch it a couple times to get some of the themes.
What's the American guy's name?
Steven Yeun.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because I think he was born in America. I believe he was born in America, or he at least grew up in America. And apparently he's very intimidated to do this movie. From what
because it's not his mother tongue, right?
Well, it might be.
Oh.
From his growing up with his family and stuff, but it's just like you're working with like a full South Korean like cast and filmmakers, and you're going into very different kind of setting compared to like The Walking Dead, which is like an American show. He's done a couple other shows and stuff, but nothing like Burning.
Yeah. It's a very artsy film too. You have to be
Yeah, it's very
open.
it's very slow. It's very like I found it very tense.
For sure.
'Cause
Yeah, you
it's a
don't know.
lot-
You feel like something's about to happen on a lot of the scenes.
Constantly, and it builds on that tension, and it gets more scary as the characters start like following each other, and especially the end sequence is like amazing. I love the ending to it. And also, just from doing research, I found out this is based on a short story from Japan, which I found interesting, called Barn Burning.
Oh, that's an interesting name.
Yeah, it's a short story. Yeah, it's a very ambiguous. I'm saying that word wrong. Oh well. Ambiguous film of like what's real, or what's real to the characters, and especially like him trying to figure out what Steven's character is doing in the film. And it's like from his perspective, he's seeing that, but that might not necessarily be real.
He's a bit obsessive, right? In the main character, almost. Or I had that feeling almost
maybe,
like
yeah. Well, he has a reason to, because that is like not exactly girlfriend, but the girl in the film disappears, and so he has kind of motivation to do that. But yeah, it's just like it's a beautiful movie. I love the camera work. It adds to the tenseness of the film.
I'm sure a lot of people won't know about it, or
Actually, well, this is what I was going to get into, was like, why did Burning not get the success, or it did do successful, but why didn't it get the mainstream appeal versus like Parasite?
Yeah,
which I found interesting because this is the year before, and also Steven Yeun, like I feel like everyone knows from The Walking Dead, which I found interesting.
I think that Burning is a little bit more abstract and just a little bit more of an artsy film.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit harder for people to digest and a little bit slower kind of thing.
Much like I love Parasite.
Yeah, and there was no comedy in it. So like the comedy in
Not
Parasite,
really.
there was like a really twisted humor.
Like Parasite's great, but you can definitely see why it appealed to North Americans, because it's very relevant subject matter to everyone. It's funny. The characters are kind of witty in it, almost. It's a very quick movie, and it's kind of action packed a little bit.
So it's more digestible
for
everybody.
Not fully normally action packed, but it has a lot of good like scenes or violent scenes. Where I think Burning has like one violent scene.
Yeah.
It's very quick. Most of the film is very tense, and you trying to figure out with the main character what's happening in this movie. And some people view the film as like a class film of rich versus poor, which I find to be a very interesting look. And it's a very different way of doing it compared to Parasite.
Yeah, it definitely had sort of some kind of feel of Great Gatsby. And it's sort of just showing, the differences between the extremely rich or, trying to be rich and,
Yeah, it does it in
where
a very different way.
Yeah. So.
It's interesting comparing Parasite in this film, actually, and how they tackle almost similar subjects in some ways.
We do pick up movies related to that quite a bit.
What else can I say about Burning? Just watch it.
Watch it.
Yeah.
Check it out.